Now I'm teaching it at Fordham.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So at Fordham.
Go to Fordham.
Well, yeah, go to Fordham.
Yeah.
Last year's class that I taught, there were 9 students in the class.
Okay.
They were all women.
Mm-hmm.
They all wanted to go into some form of city planning or municipal jobs of some sort.
Right.
They had no background in science.
Wonderful.
Not a single one knew anything about science.
Mm-hmm.
When they finished, they called their project Nature Has All the Answers. What's your question? That was the name of their project.
Nature has all the answers. What's
All
your
of them.
question? Every
All
single
of them.
question
All of them.
you have, nature has
All of
already
them.
solved that.
That's right.
Biomimicry.
Millions and millions of years of trial and error biology.
Trial and error. Rapid
That's right.
prototyping. Or even not rapid prototyping, just prototyping.
So the project that I've invented for them, this is the 4th year, it's called Envisioning Fordomopolis.
Envisioning
Fordomopolis.
Fordomopolis.
It's a fictitious city
Right.
that mimics an ecosystem.
So,
And the reading list I gave you, that's what they had to read.
so the living building challenge, right? It makes
Talk to me about it.
Right.
Autonomous building.
Autonomous. I think living building challenge. Autonomous. Maybe it's a synonym, but so I interviewed.
I know that.
Yeah, I interviewed Mark Beedron the other day, and he has started the Willow School, and he also is the head of the department of no, I messed it up. He is the head of the New Jersey Board of Education, the president. And,
Okay.
And he started the Willow School with his then wife, Dee Dee Johnson, one of the Johnson heiresses, wonderful people. And
I know that's good.
Right, I was there yesterday, it was Saturday, it was amazing. And
It
so,
is. I've given a talk there.
there you go. Why wouldn't they invite you? You're the perfect person to go
It
there,
was about
right?
3 years ago.
Right, and so they have that one building that literally contributes back to their the environment. I'm not sure exactly how. I know that they have completely solar,
Yep.
and that they have like everything's insulated with certain maximum insulation. But I think
Sure.
it doesn't give back oxygen, but it does something that is a living, just like your
Understood.
Fordomopolis, right?
So if you go to the Black Rock Forest, do you know that forest?
I do now.
Good. It's near Cornwall, New York.
Black Rock
Forest Consortium. It's called Black Rock Forest Consortium. It's run by a bunch of schools, including universities. The man who runs it is William Schuster. You should really interview him sometime too.
William
Schuster. Their education building is
Schuster.
It's autonomous, basically. It's zero energy.
Oh, that's good. I hope you were going to say that today.
Gauge
Zero energy.
goes backwards.
Ah, that's awesome. So zero energy, right? Zero,
No fossil fuel.
almost zero waste, right?
Everything is composted. There's no waste. It's all recycled.
I have so much to say.
Circle, cycle.
Gotcha. I'll circle it.
All right.
Okay, but hold on. I would love for you to, if you're watching Authors of Cradle to Cradle, William McDonough and Michael Braungart, I would jump on the opportunity. I will fly wherever you are. I'll take a day off of work. I would love if Dr. Dickson's generous enough to introduce us, because that is
You
something.
will love meeting Michael Braungart.
I will interview him. I don't
William
care where he is. I
McDonough
don't
is
care where you are, sir.
fantastic
I will
also.
find you in an interview, because you've done. He worked with Nike, and made Nike, and there's so many companies that have come completely full circle. And it's not just, like he was saying, it's not just for hippies, right? There's
It makes good economic sense.
right. There's a false narrative that being eco-friendly or being aware of the
So
environment
wait a
is
minute,
for.
why do you think nature still exists?
Right.
It's because it is economical. It conserves everything. It never uses more energy than it has, because it can't.
That's awesome. Nature's conservative.
It can't.
Nature's conservative.
The nature conservancy. Well,
But
no,
nature,
really.
nature conserves everything.
It is. No, when there's a lot, they use a lot. When there's less, they use less.
Right.
And they're resilient. So the characteristics of nature are, and things that contribute to sustainability are, well, cradle to cradle, of course, that's the concept.
Yeah.
But they're resilient. So when they're damaged, they can repair themselves. Right?
Right.
That means that they can also sustain themselves. And they do this through biodiversity.
Again, can you explain
The
what
more diverse things are, the more distributed the energy is among all of those groups. And you lose one group, it's not a big deal. You lose 2 groups, it's still not a big deal. You lose 100 groups in some ecosystems, and it's not a big deal, like the tropics. When you lose 10 things from a deciduous forest, there's maybe only 100 things there to begin with.
10 species.
Then you're going to really have some rearrangements.
And we're talking species and interspecies and subgroups within
Yes,
species.
that's right.
Right.
So as the climate changes, as the Earth continues to remodel itself, nature adjusts to these changes through biodiversity.
And when we talk about biodiversity, I think that it's really important to talk about crop production. And I think it's important to talk about monocropping, which has, just like fossil fuels, have opened up and completely in a beautiful, positive
Did you
way.
see the name, the look on my
Yeah,
face
I
when you
know,
said
I know.
monoculture?
monoculture.
Yeah, well,
but like I think it's important to like. I never want to demonize the other side. I always want to talk with them.
I'm not demonizing.
And I'm not saying you are, but I just like to say a little preamble of hey, fossil fuels have revolutionized their world. We tapped into ancient sunlight.
It's true.
Monocropping is amazing technology that has mass-produced food. But
yeah, Bud is right.
But
so you can look at these as evolutionary steps towards a more sustainable world, right? And what is the basic principle of succession of species on the planet?
okay,
It's whole extinction. Right? When we look back at the fossil record, those aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
There may be some ways to bring them back if we would like to have a dodo bird or something like this,
Right,
but
no.
the point is that these animals and plants existed as a part of a spectrum of life that continued to evolve over time. All right. And the evolution is driven by random mutation.
random mutations, and is that in meiosis, mitosis? It's a crossover too.
Everything.
Right.
However, you can change the DNA molecule and still not kill the organism.
So, and mutations can occur through pollution.
They can.
But this would probably
they
be
occur
more.
spontaneously just by the reproductive cycle.
Right,
of
so
DNA
within the
replication.
reproduction, we're talking about meiosis. It's a crossover too.
Or
Crossover
DNA
two.
synthesis.
DNA synthesis. Okay,
It
right,
makes
right.
mistakes.
Right.
Now, there are enzymes inside the body that correct those mistakes,
Uh-huh.
but they don't correct all of those mistakes.
Right. Do you think some of those mistakes of mutations are due to viruses?
No.
No, you don't.
Not the mutations themselves are not due to viruses,
Right.
but the viruses take advantage of the mutations.
Do you think that evolution of humanity and our ability to become extremely intelligent has anything? Retroviruses snip, insert DNA, right?
I see what you mean.
Right. I'm so curious. So could it be the fact that many viruses have maybe altered said DNA here, which is then passed on if it becomes a permanent thing in that organism to the next generation?
I highly recommend listening to a series called This Week in Virology.
This Week in Virology.
I'm one of the co-hosts for that. It's a podcast.
Get ready, honey. It's gonna be a fun Saturday night.
Yeah, well,
This
it's 2 hours worth of jargon, basically. But
Virology.
we've covered this topic. We have covered the topic. So, viruses are nature's monkey wrenches.
Nature's monkey wrench is the virus.
Yeah, you throw that into a normal cell and it screws up the whole cell.
Yeah.
And out comes the virus.
Right. Took over.
So, why are there monkey wrenches in nature?
Yeah.
And that's because, another quote, I didn't invent this one either, successful systems attract parasites.
Because there's energy to be sucked up.
You don't have to evolve, someone else did that for you. Go take advantage of it.
Successful.
Don't just sit there, rob that bank.
Right. No.
You don't have to make the money.
It's so funny because I think of Jane Goodall, who I'd love to interview, and maybe that's like a 5-year plan. But successful systems attract parasites.
That's correct.
It makes me think about, in a weird way, but sort of crisply, that when you have a consolidation of anything, energy, money, and I think of Goodall because she learned that the baboons and the monkeys and the apes, when there was a consolidation of bananas, they fought, and then there was violence. But when it was distributed, there was no violence, or very little. So I think about that. I think about humanity, warfare, and I think about nature, right? So when we have competition, it's because there's lack of resources. And how can we increase resources? So,
By recycling.
by recycling, yes.
We have the resources, we just throw them away when we don't want them anymore. We shouldn't do that.
Right, upcycle, recycle, nutrient cycle.
That's right.
Amazing.
So, if you think about outdoor farming, let's talk about that now.
Yeah, let's
outdoor
get to
farming, monocultures. What are the biggest issues facing farmers?
Let's see. Well, I mean, fishing.
That's not a quiz.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, yeah.
But you can start with climate, and then weather, and then pests.
Climate with pests.
And pests come in many forms. So you have viruses, definitely. With bacteria, fungi, and then you've got nematodes, and then you've got
Flatworms, nematodes, really tiny little worms.
herbs,
Yeah.
yes, and then you've got what you would call weeds. I can show you a weed right here.
Yeah. Right.
Here, there's some
There you go.
weeds.
Good weed.
You know what nature calls that? Biodiversity. Yeah.
Success.
Look
Right?
at this box right over here.
Yeah.
It's got multiple species of various things, right?
Right.
Here's another something. I think this is mint.
Yeah.
We grew mint over there. So
Yeah.
the seeds for mint are in here too, but
So weeds.
if you look at a natural system, right, and you make a square as big as this table and collect everything in that square and bring it back to the lab and sort it all out, you might have thousands of different things: seeds, roots, plants, insects. Certainly, you will have lots of bacteria, right?
Yeah.
So that's what makes the thing work. That's the diversity of life. That's what that book is all about.
Because there's so much vast biodiversity, we're able to sustain each other. There's able to be.
It's resilient.
It's resilient because if we're all eating russet burback potatoes and a virus hits that potato, no more potatoes.
It's called the potato famine. In fact, we
potato
had
famine.
one.
Right. Yes.
If you're Irish, you're very familiar with that one.
Right. Which is fungus, right? What is it?
People who describe agriculture as agroecology are greenwashing.
People who describe agriculture as agroecology are greenwashing. How and why?
Because what does the word ecology mean?
This is the natural systems of biology that live within something.
It's a Greek word, oikos, for living under one roof.
Living under
Everybody
one roof.
lives under one roof.
Ecology, living under one roof.
So they don't want that. All they want is one thing under that roof. That's their plant. So what do they do to prevent the other things from living there?
Well, they
pesticides, herbicides, and special fertilizers.
And they integrate and they splice into the DNA the pesticide. So when you bite,
you get some of that too. But that doesn't work all the time. The point is that this is an anti-evolutionary approach.
Anti-evolutionary approach,
right? As medicine is too, by the way. Medicine wants to interrupt the process of evolution by preventing illness.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Medicine is anti-evolutionary.
Sure it is, but it's altruistic.
Right.
As is farming.
Right.
It's altruistic. It wants to feed people. It wants people to survive over the rest of life that might come in and out-compete us if we allowed that to happen, right? So all those pesticides and herbicides and fertilizers are designed to short-circuit ecological process in favor of corn, wheat, rye, barley, millet.
Because it sells, because people buy it, because we eat it. Yeah.
All right, and also remember this: human beings are the only species on the planet that charges for their food.
Human beings are the only species on the planet that what?
Charge money for their food.
Charge money for their food.
Everybody else
free. Come get it.
The lion kills the buffalo. Everybody gets to eat.
Right.
Maybe the hyenas will steal it every now and then.
Or maybe the alpha male has a little bit more, but everybody gets to eat.
Point is that everybody gets to eat. Right.
Yeah.
No one. Beehives. Every bee gets to eat.
Right.
Ant mounds. Every ant gets to eat.
Northern European countries. Everybody gets.
Well, that's the socialism carried to the human condition.
Beautiful thing.
Sometimes it doesn't work, as was true in Russia and China, where corruption disrupted the beauty of that process. Right. Okay. So back to this story. So after 10 years worth of teaching,
10 years of vertical.
10 years of teaching the concept, after the third year we started to use the term vertical farm. Then we started to put projects up on the internet. And the internet, as you well know, is prime target for naysayers. And I hate ideas. I don't care whose they are. I'm going to kill them. And that didn't happen. What happened was the people who knew how to use AutoCAD and designers and planners, they began to submit their designs. Oh, I know what a vertical farm should look like. No, I know what one. And none of them were anywhere near what they look like now. Because most of them were used buildings.
Yeah, like in Newark. Aerofarms in Newark.
It's been repurposed.
Repurposed, recycled.
Cradle
to cradle.
Cheap, easy, doable.
Yeah.
All right. So after the book came out, and in the hardcover version, there are no pictures of vertical farms because there were no. This is only 2 years later. I have 3 pictures of vertical farms.
Actual ones or artistic renditions?
No, actual ones. Well, there were various pictured sections.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, here's one?
Nope.
Keep
going.
Lights.
There's another section.
There's an artistic rendition of one.
This is true.
Beautiful.
This is true, very true.
Oh, I have to mention Dr. Dickson Despommier. Dr. Nick Smith Sabato. I'm interviewing him coming up maybe this week. And he invented the 4 Solutions in-vessel aerobic digester.
Nice.
So bone to butter, 7 days you have compost. And he emailed me back saying, I have a bone to pick with Dr. Dickson Despommier, and in a joking way saying, ask him about one of the renditions he has. Why does he have an incinerator at the bottom of the vertical farm, not one of those composters?
No, it's a plasma arc gasifier, actually.
Oh, what is it?
A plasma arc gasifier.
So what's a plasma or gasifier?
We'll get into that.
Okay, so I mentioned it.
So
There you go.
this almost got built in Newark. That was the one that we wanted to put into Newark.
That's when you were dealing with Mayor Booker then?
Stefan Pryor. We actually met with Stefan Pryor, the deputy mayor, the day of the election.
Really? What year was this?
This was, I don't know, you can look it up.
Yeah.
The year that,
sometime then in-
Cory Booker got reelected the last time.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's right. And so...
So that was a demonstration project that we wanted to give to the city, that we wanted New Jersey Institute of Technology and Rutgers University to co-manage.
Yeah.
Because they hate each other.
Right. All right. Bring
You
it
know why?
together.
Because they both get their money from the state. So it's competition.
Right. Competition again. Those the consolidated banana
You
principle.
know what else?
Right.
It dilutes effort on both sides. What would happen if they combined forces?
Competition dilutes effort.
2 plus 2 equals 5.
Right.
Not 4.
Huh. There it is. There's the, and so as far as what I mean.
Well, there are more. Keep turning the pages now.
Yeah.
You've got some real pictures there.
So there's some real pictures.
Those are still renderings.
Those are renderings. Okay.
They're,
Beautiful renderings.
Well. Here's one and here's one.
Okay, this one
Those
is
are real.
in California, Beverly Hills, California.
Where?
Beverly Hills, California.
Where?
Beverly Hills, California. Green Earth Inc.
Yeah, well, that's not. That's in Suwon, Korea.
Oh, Suwon.
And this one, they got the labels mixed up, and we wanted them to correct.
Or maybe
They've
I've
never
read it
done
wrong.
it.
Here,
This is in Japan,
Okay.
and this one's in Korea.
Japan and Korea. And Dr. Dickson, are these mostly aeroponic, hydroponic, aquaponic?
Hydro.
Okay, now
Here's one in Holland that they were going to build. They haven't built it yet.
Okay.
They wanted to build it underground to exclude the harmful portion of the visible spectrum. Harmful portion
of it.
Did you even know there was such a thing?
Well, I mean, no, because there must not be, because nature has all the answers.
It's easy to find out. All you have to do is start excluding wavelengths until you get an increase in plant growth.
Well, could that increase in plant growth, which might be beneficial for profit, be negative because maybe nature wasn't meant to grow that fast? No, just us being smarter.
Well, I mean, I think that you probably nailed it.
Yeah.
If nature could grow as fast as it wanted,
Yeah.
then you would have one plant out competing another plant just based on the photosynthetic index.
Right.
Which doesn't happen usually. Although there is competition for the canopy,
Right. True.
there isn't competition for the wavelength.
There is competition for the canopy, not for the wavelength. So
Right.
lower canopy plants thrive off a different wavelength.
Right, or
Higher
in the
canopy.
tropics,
Right.
if you look up at the bottom of a tropical rainforest, you will never see the leaves of separate trees integrating together like this.
Huh.
There will always be a space.
Just that perfect little.
And they cut up and they...
and I got the yellow. You got the
The other
red.
trees are
Right.
preventing that from happening by giving off substances